Welcome to the Startup Funding Espresso. I'm Hall T. Martin, where we talk about how to raise funding and invest in startups and the time it takes to drink an espresso. If you have a question about startup funding or investing, please go to the website, startupfundingespresso.com, and type in your question into the chat bot in the lower right corner to receive an answer. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, this is Hall T. Martin with the Startup Funding Espresso, your daily shot of startup funding and investing. Fundraising will take time and money to complete. For the early stage, it's primarily the time spent. Later stage funding will also cost money as well. Here are some key costs to consider when planning a fundraise campaign. For those using a broker to raise funding, they take 5 to 8% of the raise and an additional 2 to 3% for expenses, often in the form of a retainer. Short-term loans in the venture space cost around 25% of the funds raised. A portion of this is paid in cash and some in equity. Those who use factoring to fund product bills will pay around 15% of the funds raised. For crowdfunding raises, the cost of social media and email marketing range from 10 to 20% of funds raised. Legal fees for papering the deal cost around 1% of the funds raised. A $2 million funding will cost around $20,000 in fees. While in the past the investors may have paid the legal fees to paper a deal, it's more common today that the startup will pay for it. A savvy investor will also know that the startup is paying for the fees out of the funds raised. Consider these costs in raising for your startup. Thank you for joining us for the Startup Funding Espresso, where we help startups and investors connect for funding. Let's go start listening to today. Hall T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.